HYPOCRITE. Oh boy. Hello, everybody. This is me, GamePango21, and today I'm feeling a bit sick, actually. And I know that I said that I was going to make like one video this week, and I think that I'm going to keep to my promise and just take the rest of this week off to do like just make the one video and that's it. So no Thursday video today, or at least not one of the mainline ones. I might just take a day break. But today we have a video that has gone through a couple of things. I don't really want to talk too much about like the pony salt or the specific salt for stuff, but I guess that since everyone else is talking about TimTheTatman, might as well at least throw my 2 cents into this. So there was this rant that was posted by TimTheTatman that was apparently like live on his stream where he was ranting and raving and, well, not really raving, but ranting and talking about Battlefield 6 and the quote-unquote need for a Battlefield 6 Battle Royale. Now, what do I think on this? Well, as someone who doesn't really like Battle Royale, but has tried it and understands that it has its place, no. I would say that there are plenty of games out there right now that maybe you aren't even aware of that are Battle Royale type games that you can go out and play right now that might hit a little bit differently. Do I think that they are bad? Not necessarily the greatest, but there is some interesting, ones out there that you could probably do. I would say for an interesting example, we have like Breakfast Royale, which is like one that's like kind of a meme game. We have Bet Player Unknowns. We have all these other stuff. But I think that a lot of people are seemingly missing some of the points here. But I don't know. Overall, this is just... Anyway, let's actually get this started off with this. We're not going to go through the whole video, just through some of the main points here. So let's get started.
Also, I'm going to talk about this for 1 second, bro. I see people talking about like, Battlefield doesn't need to be all right. Can you guys just let us have one that like BRs? Like, I mean, dude, I don't. There's some sort of streamers and sweats ruin video games. Like, we tanked everything. Listen to me, bro. Yeah, true. Listen.
Oh boy, 30 seconds in and he's already kind of gotten off topic. I mean, this is what happens when you do things live, for an instance here. But to go over the main few points that he actually ends up making, yeah, a lot of the sweat guys have actually ruined a ton of the games that they have, tried to make. Now, I'm going to bring this up a little bit later because it's not really too applicable now, but there is a specific comic out there that I know of where it's... I guess it's like Fitting In or something like that. I don't really know the name of it, but it's about this people that want to do a specific thing and they go in to do that thing, and then it's like, oh, you don't belong here, and then, oh, we don't belong here. So where do those people belong if they want their game to be the game? But I mean, again, he says that like just let us have you like another game out there that you have like ruined and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say that you would necessarily ruin the game Battlefield-wise if that's the case, but I do think that it's not as good because they don't get to focus on those parts of the game that everyone likes or everyone enjoys. Now, again, what do you know? You ever been playing video games that long? You've been playing video games since like what, or early 2000s? Like, okay, congratulations. I am invested in video games, but I'm also invested in another thing called marketing. Now, marketing itself is very, very long and tedious, and I brought up my marketing degree before, so I won't get too into it. But here's the thing. The best way to create a dedicated audience, for the most part, is to tailor your product or service to that audience that you want. The people who will eventually come along will have to either get to your level or will just not be your customers in the first place. You want to try to build that main foundation, and since Battlefield is now starting from not really square one, but from behind where they were before, like, after their downslide, getting that core audience back to get that foundation so they can, do the fun stuff, I guess, more or less is needing to happen here. But that's just, on someone with a marketing degree.
There is some sort of, I would almost use the word like, it's like, what's the word I'm searching for? Is there a word for, like, being an elitist? Elitism? Is that a word? Did I just make a word up?
Yes, elitism is a word. PC elitist is like a thing that like gets thrown around. Just saying.
Like, there are people in gaming that play a game like Battlefield, or let's throw Halo in this bundle here, right? That only want the game they love, which I understand you love the game, to make the one thing that they love. Are you guys following what I'm saying here?
Oh, yeah, I'm following what you're saying here, and you're a hypocrite. I don't know if anyone's actually ever pointed this out, but the way that he phrases his point, right? The way that he talks about his point, right? He's a hypocrite. Completely and utterly. Why? Well, listen to his point again. The point is that he has a people who are a fan of games, and they want them to do that one thing that that game is really good at, or that game that they appealed to them. What the fuck do you think he is specifically doing in this entire rant? Saying that he, as a gamer, loves these Battle Royale games. And he wants them to have this Battle Royale into this particular game because it's for his interests.
It's like, oh, Halo doesn't need the Battle Royale because I love playing the multiplayer. Battlefield doesn't need the Battle Royale because I love playing the multiplayer. So what I'm asking you is, I hear what you're saying, and I'm glad you enjoy the multiplayer, okay? For someone like me, I love playing Battle Royales, and on top of that, it's how I make a lot of my content. I have loved Battle Royale since, if you want to get a little old school here, I played Battle Royale since Arma 3 BR. Anyone here? Anyone even remember that? Some of you probably thought I was going to say, some of y'all probably thought I was going to say H1Z1, bro. I played Arma 3's Battle Royale. Okay, we're talking, guys, I'm talking. Some of you may not even know what that was.
I do, and I'm going to have to say, kind of base that you actually first started off on the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds mod rather than the actual game, because that came out like later and was based off of the mod itself. He's going to go into a little bit of the history there, but he obviously doesn't even know that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is based off of the mod Arma 3 and was actually kind of made by the same person. Like, it was literally made by the same guy. They went from modding to making a full game. So, but that's besides the point. Again, you can kind of see what I mean when he's being a hypocrite here. He's saying, oh, I love BRs for my content. And a lot of people are going to be talking about, oh, well, the content thing is the blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. It's funny to me how Tim and FaZe Swag kind of have the same thing, but are kind of operating on different points, I guess, where both of them do like the same things. FaZe Swag and the TimTheTatman are excited for the BR in Battlefield 6, or at least the supposed BR that's going to be in Battlefield 6. I find that endlessly hilarious. But both of them also brought up like, oh, they're just doing that to make the content. I brought this up in the FaZe Swag talking points, but again, going for clips and going for like content for games is not a bad thing, but at the same time, I don't do that. Like, again, the way that I operate on it is if I find a cool clip and I have my clipping software up, I clip it myself and I put it onto my shorts. And yeah, I don't actively go for clips. Like, there's probably a recent one that I brought up in like a live stream where it was like, oh, I got a really epic triple kill in the finals with a melee weapon. It's like, I don't go for that. Like, I don't go to do that. I didn't want to, well, I did want to, like, win the battle, obviously, but that's like, I didn't want to make it like a full-on clip, but I thought it was really cool. And yet I still have been able to like consistently post these types of compilations or these type of clips shows consistently throughout my channel. If you look at a lot of my shorts, then yeah, certainly I used to post these things back in the day as well. And to bring up the same thing, it's not indicative of any of the stuff that we have been talking about here. And just because you want something doesn't mean everything has to cater to you. To use your own point against you, Tim, you are currently the person who is playing these other games, right? You are playing these games that are good and you like the most and like that cater to your interests, right? But you are saying that this game should be like this other game, or it should be like this game. And I know that that's a little bit of the opposite of what he kind of said, if you really like want to rearrange it, but it's the same concept. It's the same basic concept of I like A, right? I like A game is good or A is good. Then there it comes along B. B is the newer thing. B is the thing that that I also kind of like. Now, the thing that I don't like about B is that it's not like A. You get what I'm saying?
But I do hear these people that are like, we don't need a BR. Battlefield doesn't need a BR. In my opinion, this may be a hot take. You can hate me or not. You're kind of gatekeeping the whole game from people that love battle royales. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing that happens. Congratulations. If you're not wanted here or you're not part of the community, then I guess you don't really feel like you need to fit in. And I think this is where I'm going to throw up that whole comic that I found, because I did find it. And it's basically about like these three pink guys that are like doing this thing, and then there's a mass of these gray dudes being like, you don't fit in, and they're like, okay, we'll make our own thing. And then the gray mob is like, why are you excluding us? And then they go into their space, and then they say, you don't belong here because they took over that space. Like, when will people realize that you don't need to be in every community? You don't need to be part of everything. Like, everything that's going on. You might feel like you need to, and there's definitely times where I feel like I needed to be a part of something that I've been, trying to be a part of. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be part of literally everything. And this is one of the other things that a lot of people used to say about, say, like Call of Duty or Doom clones, if you really want to get retro here. People were like, oh, these games are getting, like, overdone and overzealous. And it's like, yeah, in some contexts they were. But overall, one of, if not the biggest reasons as to why they were overdone is because they were, pretty successful ideas that were made in that context. And yeah, certainly in some circles, in some way, shape, or form, we're probably going to talk more about this because he goes into that a little bit, but they were called these clones, and then the people came in smelling the money, and then they overdid it to a point where it just didn't get good, and it wasn't improving in a positive light. That's happened exponentially quicker each like decade or two, where like Call of Duty is still like pretty popular, sure, but it's not as popular as it once was. And also in that same vein, Call of Duty has now fallen so far out of a lot of people's interests, including my own, where I was a fan. I was absolutely 100% a fucking fan of Call of Duty for years. Played since like Black Ops 1 on the Wii, mind you. And even, like, World at War on my Nintendo DS. So, if you really want to get weird with it. So, like, I've been a fan of Call of Duty for a while. But, right? And understand this. All of that shit, like, has now become to Seth MacFarlane and, like, Nicki Minaj and other people being in Call of Duty. Like, it was novel when Call of Duty Ghosts started to do that with, like, what was it, the Snoop Dogg DLC? It was very novel then. It was actually kind of interesting. But it grew to a point where now it's fucking meaningless, at least to the majority of people. So,
I love Battlefield growing up. I played a ton of I played 1942. I probably played some Battlefield before some of y'all were even born. Some of you are like, what the hell is 1942, right? Battlefield 1942, I think I was damn 12 years old, okay? I played Battlefield for quite some time. Okay, I played Battlefield 3. I was very addicted to Battlefield 3, and I played it a lot with my buddies. And I enjoy it. And even Battlefield 6, I enjoyed playing Battlefield 6 and running around playing BF6. I think a Battlefield Battle Royale would be fucking awesome. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I know what to tell you. I don't think that it will be. And I think that Battlefield and shooter games in general should be allowed to be their own, like, genres in that context. Like, certainly there is still the Doom single player shooter that exists and is still kind of a niche in the indie space, like if you really want to get into it. There's also Quake style stuff. There's games like Dusk, there's games like Ultra Kill, there's games like Turbo Overkill, and Doom. Obviously those games are all their own thing. Do they need battle royales now? Do they need to be that way to have the battle royale stuff, right? Do we have to create a battle royale for, say, Escape from Duckov or Escape from Tarkov, right? What about Arena Breakout Infinite? Do we need a battle royale there? Huh? What about what's it called? Delta Force. Delta Force doesn't have battle royale. Why not like have a battle royale for that, right? Am I right? You see the problem here. Again, when everyone is super, no one is. When every game is the same, there's no like individuality with those games. It's just weird to me how people don't see that when you add something unnecessary to a game, or something that like the community doesn't like or doesn't want into that game because they just want the thing that they want because they're the people that are actually going out and buying the game, right? That whole point then becomes, now we can't have more of the thing that we want. And yeah, that might be the gatekeeping to some, but like at the same time, like I brought up earlier, as someone with a marketing degree and who has studied this shit in school and has seen this pattern of behavior a number of times, catering to your core audience is oftentimes what you need. And you can eventually kind of move out from your core audience after the fact. But creating that foundation for a game like Battlefield, which right now, Battlefield's in a spot where they need that core audience because they need a lot of what they have, their money, obviously. But you're saying, oh, they need a BR to appeal to me, to appeal to the people that we're not going to buy the game except to do that and to make content on it. You get how in the grand pyramid of the audience, of general audience retention and stuff, you are above the hardcore people, and there are less of you. It's the same thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have this basic concept where you have a pyramid of your audience, where you have the core being the common players, the people that like will pick up your game for a while. They won't play it like too often, but they'll play it enough to where, you know, they'll justify their purchase. You then have the hardcore people above them. There's a little less of them, but they're the ones that will tend to stick around long term and will like make sure that the foundation of common regular players is still like new and fresh because they will bring like new people on. You then have the content creators who, you know, inspire some of the hardcore people and even some of the casuals. You then have your developers or your mod makers towards the top, which are again even less people to keep a game alive whenever you have that sort of stuff. And you know, not every game can do that. And the way that I kind of talk about this is like a bottom-up or a top-down mentality. There's an entire course that I could teach on this shit. But essentially, you are the third rung up. And you do not count for everyone in that context, is what I'm saying. You do not speak for everyone ever underneath you. You speak for yourself for the most part. You can inspire some of the people downstairs, down the pipeline, obviously. But if you poison towards the top, it trickles down very easily. That's the thing.
And the thing I would say to everyone that's saying, oh, Battlefield doesn't need a BR, we don't need a BR. There's another game that said the same thing. Okay? I'm not trying to light a fire here a little bit, but there's another game that said this same exact thing. Okay, and that game isn't doing that hot. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't know if I'd use the word dead. I just realized I had chat off. Hey, chat, there you guys go. It's BRs are overdone. That comment, dude, there's something. I'm dead serious. That was one of my subs, by the way, Jedi. And I'm not going to ban you or anything. That comment gets me going.
Okay, before he gets going on that comment, let's talk about his other points there. Saying that, for one, the game that he's kind of talking about here is actually Halo. He brought it up a little earlier. You might have forgotten about it because, you know, it's been quite a bit since that point was brought up. But the whole of what he's saying is like, oh, Halo isn't doing so well, or this game isn't doing so well because it didn't need a BR. And everyone kept saying like it needed a BR. But the thing is that it wasn't that happened. It was the fact that the game wasn't, you know, up to snuff or ready to go. It was released in some people's contexts prematurely. It didn't have enough content for people at launch, and it didn't have enough content to keep people coming back. You know, didn't have enough for people to chew on, at least for what they assumed to be the Halo multiplayer stuff. They had done a few things like, again, another thing that they also did. You want to hear another one that didn't have a battle royale system? Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 never had a battle royale and never needed one. And that game died because they falsified on a lot of fucking promises. Like, I wouldn't say it's completely dead. I would say that, like, it's not doing great, and it could have been better had they had the single-player content, but they defaulted on it, saying, like, oh, we didn't need it. It was just, like, a big glorified update where they just let a game die to try to revive it in order for it to, like, die a second time, at least in my personal opinion. I mean, again, to say that that's the context is just very weird. And I recently am bringing up Overwatch 2 because I saw, like, there was a tweet somewhere about Overwatch 2 and Marvel Rivals and how, like, oh shit, they have, like, the same player counts, or, like, Marvel Rivals has, like, a 3,000 or something more of the same player count. It's like, okay. And I don't know. It's just, it's really dumb that, again, he just never says it. And just, like, if you're gonna make a point like this, make it specific. Like, bring up the specific example. Have the balls, right, Tim, to bring up the specific example. Don't just, like, pussyfoot around and be like, oh, well, there was another thing that brought up that obviously, you know, it's not doing so hot right now. Like, fucking say it. Fucking say it with the full chest, goddammit. So long as you're not, like, so long as it's not something that's just, like, super duper upsettingly bad in terms of, like, political stuff or whatever, like, it's fine. You're talking about fucking video games. Say the game, all right? Say the fucking game. Say it with your full chest. Say it with your fucking, like, entire chest and be like, yeah, I think that this game died. Congratulations. You have an opinion. Like, don't pussyfoot around and be like, I told you. Like, this one game that, like, had things. Like, no. Fuck off.
Like, oh, BRs are over, like, they're overdone. My brother in Christ, I have been playing arena shooters since 007 GoldenEye. What do you mean battle royales are overdone? Bro, I have been spawning and dying since I was 7. I was 7. So what do you mean the newer game mode that has come into gaming, the battle royale, is overdone? How is that possible? When arena shooters, I was running around with a golden gun on N64 when I was 6 years old. So how are you gonna look at me and tell me, oh, battle royales are overdone, when we've been playing since literally Nintendo 64?
They're overdone to the point of where in modern times, if you don't really like to, we have, like, higher standards, obviously. And the arena shooter, for the most part, has actually evolved with various different people's points on it. And plus, the arena shooter itself is also enough of a baseline idea that if you build upon it, it's a good foundation. A battle royale, its foundation is actually kind of built on arena shooters, so it's already working with less than what an arena shooter is foundation-wise, because it has to build off of a specific format. Whereas an arena shooter can be literally anything. It could be team deathmatch, it could be domination, it could be kill confirmed, it could be grind, it could be cranked. Bring back fucking cranked, goddammit. I want that fucking game mode. But I'm not going to demand every game has a game mode that is cranked. Like, obviously, if you don't know what cranked is, it was like a very quick TDM where you had, like, stuff where you had, like, a thing strapped to you that basically said, like, you need to get, like, a kill every 30 seconds in order to, like, make sure that you reset that timer. Like, that was fun to me in a number of ways. But again, you're looking at this, you're saying, oh, well, it needs a BR, to be successful. It needs a BR for you to, you know, be in the game. Like, you're one person. When everyone else is saying, oh, we don't need this or we don't want this, don't you think that means that the player pool for that battle royale is going to be less because people don't want the battle royale? Don't you think that that's, like, a bad thing? Again, it's been overdone to the point because people, at least nowadays, more or less see the same pattern of the same shit over and over and over and over again. And yeah, certainly, the arena shooters has been around since the 80s-ish, if you really want to be talking about it. But battle royales have only been around for like 10 years, and people are already sick of it because it's the same thing. There's very little, if any, improvement at this point. Again, to bring the arena shooter examples, you have modern arena shooters like Call of Duty, which not really the greatest example, but you also have the Finals, which is another arena shooter. That shit fucking uses all of the best old school stuff, but all of the best new school tech to do something fucking awesome. You have single player arena shooters like Doom and Ultra Kill, like I brought up before. And even Forgive Me Father, I would say, is a pretty solid one. In terms of like multiplayer ones, I can't really think of any ones off the top of my head other than the finals and Call of Duty, but that's probably because I can't think of many other ones that are, again, arena shooters. There's enough of a foundation there that you can build off in a specific direction and make it different than what it was initially made out to be. Is what I'm saying. With battle royales, it's very hard to do so.
It does. It gets me going. It gets me hot. The point I'm making. Okay. Why can't, and I see a lot of people in the comment section, keep these Call of Duty guys off this. We don't need a battle royale. We don't need it. I got news for y'all, man. I'm going to tell you something. This is kind of hot. If this game, BF6, flops, that may be it for Battlefield. Can we have an honest conversation here? Can we have an honest convo? If this one don't hit, this may be it, okay? So, in my opinion, from a developing standpoint, they're going to put all their eggs in the basket, right? They're going to have the multiplayer version of Battlefield that everyone loves and has grown to love and play, right? They're going to have that. They're also going to have Portal, a Fortnite creative mode where people can limitlessly make maps and make games to continue longevity and replayability. And for the Battle Royale audience, that this is a hot fucking take that a lot of people don't want to hear, they're going to have a Battle Royale for those that love Battle Royales and they want to play it. So yes, bro, I think Battlefield, maybe, I don't know if need is the right word for a Battle Royale, but here's what I'd say. I am so happy that they have a BR.
Okay. So here's the question then. If it doesn't hit, and it's not going to be successful, and then it's going to fail the entire franchise, right? Why would they listen, and should they listen to you and people like Face Swag? When you and people like Face Swag are the people that are coming from other games that haven't been into this particular game, because you mentioned a lot of other games other than Battlefield up until this point, right? You've mentioned a lot of other games except for Battlefield. Why should they listen to you specifically in order to make the game quote-unquote better, right? They should listen to you because you have a lot of this, appeal to false authority, which is something that you're obviously using. They should listen to you because you have played all these other shooter games and have tried this and want the new kid on the block to get its quote-unquote time in the sun with a new game because you're finished with the content from all the other BRs that are currently out there, or all the other popular BRs that are currently out there, right? That's all that he's saying. And I think that in saying that, you can see why a lot of people are upset with Tim here. It's very, very, very stupid to just assume, right? To just assume that people want a battle royale when, if this game fails, with even the hardcore main fans, who have been a lot of the times now brought back, if you saw the numbers of, like, the beta numbers, right? Of over 100,000, like, people playing on this thing all at once, concurrent player stuff. Like, that's a pretty good amount for, like, even just Steam, and there's probably more on consoles and stuff, obviously. But why would they listen to you when you are one person who wants a game mode that everyone else does not want? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm understanding here, Tim? Right? You want one. You want A, right? But A does not exist in B in this game. So then you're like, bring A into B. Then it will be better. No, it won't. Just straight up, no, it fucking won't. It won't. In saying that, you are being that person who likes a game and says, oh, it should be more like this game. And it should appeal more to me because that's what I want. You get how that's fucking hypocritical, right? You're the hypocrite one. You're the person who you were talking about earlier. Except you're doing it the opposite way. Where you're like, this game that I want to play, that I like, doesn't have the thing that I actually like the most or can't make content on. So therefore, it should have that in that. It should not. It should not appeal to just fucking you. Because you're not the core audience. You're not the people that are going to go out and participate in the game. You're just one guy, one dude, who has a large audience and who likes to play BRs. It's the same thing with like Mr. Respect from back in the day, if you know who that is. When he mentioned that. Mr. Diddy Respect back there. I know I don't want to bring up his name, but dude, you sound like a child trying to be like, this toy that everyone likes doesn't have a really cool quote-unquote action figure that this other toy has, and I've had for years. So that means that that toy is garbage and needs to appeal to me. It should not. It just shouldn't. And I think that that's going to end it there, because there's about like half this video left, and I don't care about any of the rest of these points here. You can see what I mean when talking about Tim and how Tim is like, oh, like the people in these games are gatekeeping us from it and are gatekeeping us from the thing. Some people would say good. I'm going to say fine, whatever. Go and play your BR somewhere else for a game that's more designed that way if you want to play it, right? Go play PUBG. Go play the Arma. Go play the other ones. Go play all that. You have plenty. All right? And again, to bring up the Syndrome quote from The Incredibles, when everyone is super, no one is. And that quote is very applicable here, because when everything is the same fucking shit, nothing's special anymore. I don't know what to tell you else. If you don't get the point, you don't get the point. In any case, I think that'll about do it for this episode of I Rent to a Microphone, uncontrollably and realistically weirdly about something that clearly shouldn't happen in one way, shape, or form, or should, but, you know, we won't talk about it. My name is GamePicker21. If you like what it is I do and want to support me the other way, shape, or form, other than like and subscribe, which always enough. Links down to everything in the description below. I'm looking at 1.5K. I've released another non-music. The new music should be released by mid to late September. The new album. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I need to now make the actual thing. I'll probably do another one of those speed paints that I did for the previous album. But overall, I think that'll about do it. Thank you all so much for watching, and a peace.